Musicians often play the Passacaille without having much idea about the dance which is its counterpart, and indeed its twin.
They probably know that the Passacaille is a dance in triple time over a 4-bar ground, and perhaps one or two other details, that it's related to the chaconne, for example. They may be familiar with examples by well-known composers, such as this one by Johann Sebastian Bach. Some of the earliest Passacailles are to be found in 17th century guitar manuals, such as these by the Italian guitarist Foscarini and the French court lutenist Robert de Vizet. To find out more about the Passacaille as a dance, we can consult the original writings of Baroque music and dance masters.
But original sources can, at first sight, seem confusing. Here are a few 18th century definitions of the Passacaille. In 1735, Callum Tomlinson, dancing master in London, said of the Passacaille,
"It is a degree lighter than the sarabande and a degree heavier than the chaconne."
A year later, music theorist Matteson in Hamburg seems to agree that the Passacaille is
a little slower than the chaconne.
Yet 16 years later in Berlin, the celebrated flautist Quantz stated,
"The chaconne is played majestically, the Passacaille similar but faster."
So faster or slower? Which is it? Of course, these varying pieces of advice provide useful insights into the regional and chronological differences in performance practice existing throughout the 18th century, as well as testifying to the popularity and longevity of each dance form. By 1768, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, shown here, called the Passacaille
a type of chaconne, but a little slower and more tender.
In his description of the chaconne itself, Rousseau raises a vital consideration for performance practice.
The beauty consists in airs which express the movement, and in composing the variations so that they contrast well together and continually enliven the attention of the hearer. We should highlight the variety in the couplets, whether it be major or minor, grave or gay, tender or fast, without exceeding or lessening the measure.
Our priority should be, therefore, in the first instance, to play in time with attention to the rhythm,
whilst also injecting novelty and invention into the variations so as not to become boring.
By the 18th century, numerous dance manuals and treatises were published by Baroque dance experts, together with a special system of documenting choreographies known as bouche-en-feuillet notation.
Since many dancing masters were also accomplished musicians, their publications often provide a wealth of information about the music and how it relates to both the dance steps and the character of the dance itself.
This particular Passacaille comes from the opera Persée by Jean-Baptiste Lully. Here in the first page, we can see the tune and the section of choreography which fits exactly to this tune.
The path of each dancer is divided into sections, each one corresponding exactly to the bars of the music.
Each bar of dance contains a pictorial map for the movement of the feet, with different symbols marking additional refinements, such as bending the knees, rising on the toes, lifting the foot, or even springing into the air.
The page represents a ballroom or stage. The two dancers stand at the head of the room, or upstage, facing the audience, here represented by the music. They perform a sequence of steps, both to each other and to the audience, in mirrored symmetry. The opening 4-bar step sequence is repeated just as it is in the music. The Passacaille is a very common ground in the 17th and early 18th centuries and consists of a descending bass line In triple time, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Relentlessly and continuously, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. With a very strong downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now with the third beat. 3, 3, 3, 3, 1.
That third beat provides a really good upbeat ready for the dancer's downbeat, because of course on top the dancer's footwork, the step sequences are going to add another rhythm. And 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. But it is not enough to see this dance just as a succession of mechanical steps. Within the structure of this choreography, there are clues to an emotional dynamic arising from the context of the dance within the opera, vividly animated by the skills of both composer and choreographer.
At this point in the opera per se, two lovers are doomed to be executed and have been permitted this final chance to be together. The general mood of the dance is one of longing and loss, but within that there is a greater depth and range of emotions which are expressed by each couplet.
The opening steps in the first 4 bars convey the passion and inner turmoil of these lovers, whose intense longing is dashed by the tragic inevitability